Okay, so let's take a look at how to graph the tangent function if we have A values, which again are the vertical stretch or compression, and then the B times T, which is going to affect where your asymptotes are. So here are some hints to how to graph those. First, you want to find two consecutive asymptotes, and there are two formulas that we have. We have B of T is equal to negative pi over 2, and B of T is equal to positive pi over 2. So we find out where those new asymptotes are by the formula. Find the x-intercept. This is the midpoint between the asymptotes. And then we find a point on each side of the x-intercept and then sketch one period of our graph. So in this case, we're going to go up A. So whatever our A value is going to be our vertical stretch or compression to the right of our midpoint. And then we're going to go down A to the left of our midpoint. And the up and down are telling us that we're going to get an increasing graph, which a tangent graph is. And then we just sketch in a period to the right and the left, or if there's a specified interval, then you're going to fill in the interval that it asks for. So you just repeat the same graph over and over again to the right and to the left, or that interval. So here's our example. So we want to graph y is equal to 3 times the tangent of 2t. So let's identify that A is equal to 3, so that's going to be a vertical stretch. And then we have B is equal to 2. So what's going to happen there is we're going to decrease our period by a half. But let's go through the steps. So step number 1, we're going to find our new asymptotes. So our B value is 2, so we're going to have 2t is equal to negative pi over 2. Divide both sides by 2, and you're going to get t is equal to negative pi over 4.
Chelsea Live say.
Sorry, just had to pause there for an announcement. So there is one asymptote, and let's find the other. So our other asymptote is going to be 2t is equal to positive pi over 2. Again, divide both sides by 2, and we get t is equal to pi over 4. Okay, so if we go down to our graph, let's create a scale here. So let's do 2 tick marks over is positive pi over 4, negative pi over 4, and we have positive pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and pi. Do the same thing on the negative axis. Negative pi over 2. We'll just put negative pi. On the y-axis, let's go up 1 and down 1. And since our vertical stretch is 3, we actually should go up and scale to positive 3 and to negative 3. Okay. Let's put in our asymptotes. So we said negative pi over 4. And positive pi over 4. So you see our period is half as much because our B value was 2. So I'm just going to denote down here the distance between our two asymptotes is our period, so P is equal to pi over 2. Okay, now it's easy to see then from this graph where our x-intercept is. It's at our midpoint, which would be at 0, 0. So if we take a look at that on our graph, midpoint between our asymptotes is right there at 0, 0. And then the third thing we find is our vertical stretch. So we're going to go over to the right, midway between our midpoint and our asymptote, and then we are going to go up 3, because that's our A value, so that's right here. So that point is pi over 8, positive 3. And then if we go over here to the left, we're going to go down 3 halfway there. So this is going to be negative pi over 8, comma, negative 3. So there's our other point. Let's sketch it in because a tangent is an increasing graph. This one's going to be pretty skinny. There we go. And then what you want to do is you want to repeat that on both sides. So we'll just do that very quickly. So we're going to go over pi over 2. And you can kind of count on your grid. You see there are 4 grid lines between the 2 asymptotes, so we just need to go over another 4. And then we can go over 4 in the other direction. There's another asymptote. Okay. Quickly plot some points. Here's our midpoint. We know over here we're going to go up 3. To the left we're going to go down 3. Sketch in our increasing graph. We do the same thing over here. Here's our midpoint. Up 3 to the right, down 3 to the left. Sketch in our graph. And that should have a little bit of a curve to it. It's kind of hard to write with this thing. Okay, there you go. That's an example of our graph.